Yeah, it's time for another episode of DWMOD, guys. You know, it's disagree with me or don't. And look, Stanley Cup just wrapped up. The ladies of the WNBA, they want to eat the golden goose. The Pacers are falling apart. We got a big announcement for wrestling fans, and Louis wearing his Tayshaun Prince jersey. So let's start it up, brother.
We cuttin' loose.
Touchdown. Ready? College football is now B1G versus SEC.
Down, put.
If you ain't listening to All Right Bet with me and Andy St. Clair, you're throwing away money.
Ready?
All Lions fans drinking that Kool-Aid. Super Bowl. Hey, disagree with me or don't. That's how it works. Disagree with me or don't. Louis, just bring the man in. He's back. It's Andy St. Clair back in the house. What's going on, brother?
Good, man. I'm back. I feel good. I took a little I was going to call it a vacation, but it wasn't even a vacation. I was with family in Missouri, so yeah, that's not a vacation.
No, that's a visit.
It's a visit. It's a visit. That's right.
Visits are fun. Visits are work. They're like a good romantic comedy. You'll laugh, you'll cry at the end of it. You either loved it or hated it.
Yeah, and you're ready to go. And you're ready to go at the end.
Right, so. Definitely, man. But you had a good time, man.
We had a good time. You know, it's Midwest living is always, it's now become, because I haven't lived at home in 30 years.
Yeah.
Become nostalgic, almost. I went to Sonic like 3 times.
Yeah.
And I don't even like Sonic. It's like carnival food, but I went there like 3 times. I mean, I had like their new smash burger. I just had tater tots. I was just living the fat, unhealthy dream, and it was great. That part was great.
A lot of fun, man. And then do you find? I always find, like, when I go back to Detroit, I find myself like in a stressful paced race during the visit to hit all my old haunts, get all the old food I like, get all the old things I want to see.
Yeah. Well, it's like my parents moved away from where I kind of grew up, so it is my college town, though. They live in the town I went to college.
Okay.
Which there are some haunts I would like to hit, but those haunts I want to hit them with like my friend. I can't just show up. Is my only point. It would just be me drinking alone at the bar.
Yeah,
like,
right.
None of my friends that I went to college would live there anymore. They've all moved to Kansas City or St. Louis or wherever.
Sure.
So it's just me alone. So I drive by and I'm like, oh yeah, I have privately to myself, like, I remember a time here.
Yeah.
It's, to me, it's now, I guess maybe it's also an age thing. Now it's more food related, more than bar related.
Yeah.
Now, if my friends live there, I think it would be more bar related.
More bar related. Yeah. And then it's awesome when it's a combination. When it's like bar and food. Yes, please.
Yeah. Yes, please. So, I'm like, I went to I have very young daughters, she's 6, but I went to like 3 swimming pools, it's like, you're kind of reliving. I was really reliving a tiny version of what my life was like when I was like 7, 6, like that sort of thing.
I'm going to take a wild shot. I'm going to throw a dart right here at the fact that you ate the most hot dogs and pizza on the Strip.
My dad had these hot dogs at his house, I will say this, these hot dogs, they're like Oscar Mayer, right? And my daughter does not like hot dogs, but these were like hot dogs, but they were like sausage hot dogs.
Yeah.
We were, you had a young child, you remember, where you're like, she just got to eat something, and you're like, you just make fucking whatever. Yeah. And I just picked these hot dogs out, and they were sauce out, and she was like, I don't want a hot dog. She took a bite of it. She was like, yes, I do like this hot dog. I was like, oh, interesting. Let me try it. It's probably just a hot dog, but I tried it, and it was like a sausage hot dog, which I didn't know they existed. Ultimately, it looks like a hot dog, but it's like tastes like sausage.
I don't know. I got to check this thing out. I didn't know what you're talking about. I'm up on this shit.
Yeah, my dad buys them somewhere, and I got to tell you, it was good. I do. So yeah, he had like a pack of 8, maybe 2 packs of 8. We went through them. Through the dogs. Yeah.
Man, I knew it. I called it, though. I love it when I get back to it. I'm like, yeah, let me get some. Head over to the old the old butcher shop, man.
Right.
The old Joyview Meats, and get me some Polish kielbasa when we get there, man.
Right, when you go back, you're getting like conies. You're having a nice,
man, brother. When we go back, last time we did, Well, I didn't get to what we're doing, but when we get to what we're doing, I'll tell you more about that. But we're going to do some food trips, brother. I'm going to tell you that right now. Let's jump real quickly into Stanley Cup Finals, wrapping up. Sorry about that Edmonton Oilers bet, man. It went belly up, but what a weird. I don't remember the last time I saw any finals or World Series or anything that was like this, right? Like it ended in 6 games. And 3 of the games were like these overtime or double overtime, just fucking banger thrillers. And the other 3 games were just massive blowouts.
Yeah, it was wild. You know, it was a weird, because what you're saying is like the first couple games were awesome, and then the last few was like, yeah.
Well, it was kind of like sprinkled in, right? It's like 2 overtime games, blowout, overtime, double overtime game. 3 more blowouts. It was like, what? Like, I don't remember the last time I've seen a finals. Either it's really competitive and it's tooth and nail, or it's moderately competitive, but one team kind of feels like they're going to win, or it's a blowout. This thing was, I don't know.
Yeah, it was right. You know, hey, I will tell you, I did do a small hedge on the Panthers. I took the Panthers at even money.
All right.
So it was a positive outcome in the end. But it wasn't the biggest possible outcome in the end.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, hey, you didn't lose. That's the point. That's the whole point about the gamble we try to get across to people all the time. They want to always be like, but are you winning? Did you win? Did you win? The objective is not to lose. The wins will come. If you can avoid the losses, you get ahead in this thing. That's the way to approach it.
Yeah. And I'm not always for that. It's not like the win was going to bring in a big windfall of money. And so I don't always love hedging it and those sort of things. But but I did think to myself, if the Oilers are the favorites, which gives me some sort of plus money on the Panthers, then I will hedge. That's how the hedge got there.
Yeah, right. Well, Panthers got their little mini dynasty going, man. 3 straight finals, 2 straight cups. They already cracked the bowl on the Stanley Cup and dented it. With that's par for the course. They always report that story every year, like we're supposed to be shocked. Those dudes they're going crazy with that thing.
Yeah, that thing seems awesome. You know, when I lived in Chicago, one of my favorite things is when they won the cup. You know, the Blackhawks at the time would go out with the cup at different places.
Sure, yeah.
And I always wanted to randomly run into the cup. That was always kind of like my dream for that month.
Yeah, man.
You know, I just wanted to be at a bar and I walked in like it was a person. Only one time I got close, and it was at this little bar off Belmont in Chicago, and there was just so many people. So many. I couldn't even get close to the bar.
Yeah.
The cup was in there. I'm like, I just want to get in. I just want to see it, but I couldn't even get in. And so the dream, I'm still searching to meet the cup at a bar.
Yeah, man.
Like a real human being.
Yeah. When I was down at Engine 1 down in Detroit, right by Comerica Park and Hockeytown Cafe and all that, right across the street was a real famous bar. I don't think it's there anymore. I think it's something else now. It used to be called the Town Pump. You always went to the Town Pump and then went out to the games and stuff. And we would always frequent going back and forth. That's where me and my wife met. Like I'm out in front of the firehouse meeting people coming in and out of the Town Pump. And anyway, one night after they had won the cup showed up over at Town Pump. They brought the cup over into the firehouse, and like at that time, cool celebrities who you may not like anymore, but like whatever, sure. Kid Rock was there, and everybody's going nuts. And they brought the cup over to the firehouse and stuff. And of course, I wasn't there. I wasn't there that night, but
right. Of course, I know what you mean though. So like celebrities, I for a while I dated a girl from Grosse Pointe, and she loved Kid Rock. The time when Kid Rock came out, and then what Kid Rock seems to, it's like Hulk Hogan, right?
Yeah, he's Hulk Hogan himself. Like yes,
he's a childhood hero, and then you're not that Kid Rock was a childhood hero, but Hulk Hogan was in a way, and then next thing you know, you're like, oh no. Yeah, I mean Hulk Hogan's been bad for a long time, but
they're not smart enough to not let you in. Like a little more John C. Reilly, guys. You know what I mean? Like you don't need to let everybody in. Don't let them in. Just keep your professional life. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it is what it is. But listen, man, you can't deny that in like '97 with Devil Without a Cause was an awesome album. It was an awesome album. Yeah, every song on there was fantastic. He was at the top of his game. And if you grew up around Detroit, you heard a lot of his earlier, like, I don't know, mixtapes or whatever when he was trying to rap, like when I was in high school. And a lot of people liked it. And I'm going to tell you right now, as a hip hop fan, it was fucking terrible. I mean, it was fucking terrible. Like, they were just bad, but it was a teenager rapping. Of course it was bad.
Right.
And then he evolved into that, Devil Without a Cause, which was a great album. And now he kind of is what he is. I mean, he's doing his thing, and just, you don't need to let everybody in, man.
No,
you just don't, man. Anyway, now listen, on that note, I guess I wanted to ask you if you got a chance to catch any of that Trump military birthday parade, buddy.
I skipped it. I decided it was best if I skipped it. I didn't. Luckily, we were flying on that day back to LA, so it was. I would just put me in the air. That was my main thought.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, no matter what side of the fence you're on with this thing, it really was a huge success. It was a huge success.
Yeah, sure.
For everybody that predicted it was going to be a complete disaster.
Yeah.
It was just like, I mean, you look at the videos and it's like the crowd and the bleachers look like a WNBA game before Caitlin Clark.
Right. Yeah. It seems sparsely attended.
It was really sparsely attended and just bad videos of like Rubio falling asleep and stuff. It's just it was bad. It was hilarious.
Rolling down the street and making like creaking noises. I just like, what is happening?
And then the dudes are like waving out of the tank like it's Disney World, like it's like they just did a Pixar military movie and you're at Disneyland and it's 10:30, the parade's coming. Or it was just. It was goofy. It was hilariously goofy from the beginning. Like what even was that thing? And then you saw the on Fox News when he went up to speak, like they pumped in all the crowd noise, and you're like, what is this, man? So hey, happy birthday, buddy. I guess. Whatever, man.
That guy is he's a complete idiot. I can't believe it.
He is. He's a complete goofball, man. I honestly kind of felt bad for him a little bit. Like when he's sitting there and you can see the look on his face, and it kind of felt like one of those birthday parties when you're 12 and like the weird kid in the neighborhood handed out 100 invitations to everybody at school and nobody showed up, but your mom was like, you're going down there. And they drag you down there and you're sitting there and the kid just looks crushed that nobody came. And you're sitting there like, God, this is just really awkwardly awful.
Right. I think my life, I don't think I can ever say I would feel bad for him. I'm like, I hope no one shows up next time.
I'm not going to disagree with it. I mean, I guess I was tying it to the fact that I felt bad for that kid at his birthday party.
Well, that kid, sure. I feel bad for that kid.
Yeah. I felt bad for that kid, man. Well, listen, we got an announcement. Okay, I told you we got a big announcement for wrestling fans. Wrestling fans and comedy fans can be excited because Flying Chuck is back, Andy.
That's right.
Back. That's right, man. And Flying Chuck, you guys remember Flying Chuck, the long-time running show at Second City. This is the show that combines professional wrestlers and comedians. Wrestlers come and host the show, and they tell stories from the road, crazy wrestling stories, and then some of the best improvisers in the game will take to the stage with these wrestlers and recreate these scenes in what could only be described as a Lob City dunk fest of bits. I mean, it's just exactly what it is. Now, listen to this first show back. Listen to this lineup, man. We got people that are going to be on this show that you have seen on Comedy Central's Detroiters, Netflix, I Think You Should Leave. Too many sitcoms from CBS and NBC to even name. Celebrity Wipeout, The Sketch School, Jimmy Kimmel Live. I mean, we got stars from the WWE, TNA. We got stars from New Japan Wrestling that are going to be on this thing. It's going to be Brett Cannell, Mark Rezeka, Brian Hunt, John Hennigan, a.k.a. Johnny Slamtown, a.k.a. Johnny Diff. He's going to be in the house. The Nemeth brothers are going to be hosting this thing. Nick and Ryan Nemeth are going to be hosting this thing. TNA Tag Team Champs currently, right now as it stands, they're going to be the hosts for this thing. I'm telling you, tickets for this thing, they sell out so fast every time this thing is booked anywhere. And this is going to be live in Detroit at the Diff Comedy Festival, August 8th. You better get your tickets fast. And there is some rumor mills that there may be, like every great show in Detroit, there may be some walk-ons, some people maybe you didn't expect to be there that may just be there to perform in the show. You don't know. We'll see you August 8th at the Detroit Improv Festival, the Comedy Festival. Better get your tickets.
You're going to be there. I'm going to be there. It's going to be.
Did I forget? Did I forget there are two very special dudes you may even know from this show that are going to be on that show?
Right. We're both going to be there. Nick is he was Dolph Ziggler in the WWE.
Sure was.
So it should be a fun show, and mainly I'm only going. I'm not even really going for the show. I'm going for the Conies. I haven't been to Detroit in probably, I would say 20 years. I probably have maybe 15 years, but I haven't been in a while. So I'm going to be back for the drinks and the food. That's as we were talking earlier.
Yeah. Last time we were there for the show, we sold out crazy, did 2 back-to-back shows. But me and Ryan Nemeth, who's a big foodie, Dunbar was on that trip with us. You guys know Dunbar, he watched the show, and they wanted to go on a Detroit food tour, and I took them around to some places. Andy, I'm going to take you to these places, some fantastic food. We're definitely going to do some of that, and we're going to tie it in. We're going to probably record a couple of episodes of This Better Be Good for Kuttin Loose while we're there, checking out some food. Going to be a good time.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It'll be August 8th, right?
Yeah, August 8th in Detroit. You guys get your tickets and come on out and see your boys. Mr. Andy St. Clair and Mikey Wilson are going to be on stage with these guys from DWMOD joining the team. Not joining the team. We're originally on this team for the shows, all the other shows, but we'll be there in Detroit. So come and check it out. But hey, on that note, let's hit some sponsors real quick, Andy. And let's throw it over to Gordon Butterfield of What Just Happened at Gold Dust Coffee.
Oh, what just happened?
What Just Happened is brought to you by the Gold Dust Coffee Company. Wake up to a golden dust sunrise or the freshest Kenyan farm coffee beans you'll find in all your favorite flavors from espresso to vanilla. Oh, there's even hazelnut. Just scan the barcode and download the app and you'll be well on your way to ordering the freshest coffee beans that Kenya has to offer. That's the Gold Dust Coffee Company, and don't forget to add your discount code DWMOD for 10% off. It's Gordon approved. Janet Lipnicki with a fresh cup of Gold Dust coffee, looking to take on a washed-out beef patch. A ginger one, too, and she's in the clear. Oh, sniper! Oh, what just happened? Looks like we've got action from the 6-story window of the book depository as Janet takes that second step. Oh, bang! Down she goes. Let's take one more look. And here we see she goes wrong right there. She's simply uncoordinated and bang! Her face in the sand quicker than an ostrich. Oh, that's gotta hurt. Somebody put some chalk around that coffee. Gold Dust down.
Oh, what just happened?
Wow.
Poor Janet.
I mean, I like that he thinks it's Gold Dust Coffee. I like that he's like, it could, who knows? It probably is.
Oh, he knows it.
It looks like in the video she tore her ACL. It looks like she just blew out her ACL.
Or her Achilles. The way her foot hit that sand, it looked like her toes touched her shin. I was like, oh, baby. Yeah. She's going down, man.
And she also had that nice white scarf. That thing is a mess.
Oh man, I love how the coffee spill looks on the sand too. Like it looks like a chalked out body, like he described, because it hits the sand and it doesn't run anywhere. It just spreads right out like you spilled paint. You know?
Yeah, it's rough. That lady. I mean, what were they filming? Like her just walking out on the sand?
I don't know. We'll probably feel terrible if we found out like she probably just beat cancer and then like having a coffee on the beach that she loves and then she eats it, you know?
Right. Or something horrible. They were just like, she just wanted to see the water one last time.
Yeah, probably something
Gordon,
like that.
Right. And then Gordon just throws this video up and blasts her out. You know?
Yeah. Well, listen, guys, I'm gonna tell you this right now. If it's your last moments on Earth, get you a Gold Dust coffee. Probably enjoy it.
100%. It's got to.
Let's get these quick hits, buddy. All right, Andy. Bo is back. Did you hear about this, man? Bo Jackson is back, buddy. Breaking news, all-star running back Bo Jackson and the Raiders are back together. He is now the team coordinator for the Las Vegas Raiders. Bo back in the building.
What is team coordinator? What is that job?
I think it's kind of like, if I'm not mistaken, it may seem silly, but I don't think it is. A lot of teams are starting to do this based on like what the Lions did. They brought back some of the great players from when they had good teams, and they just kind of putting them around the people that are making the decisions to bounce things off of. Like, hey, now what does this mean for the locker room? Tie me into the guys. What do the fellas think? Let's make this place people want to be for the guys, you know?
Right.
I think it's kind of like a Spielman thing for the Raiders, maybe.
Well, I do like, I've noticed this in the NBA playoffs too, where like the guys come back who used to play on the team and they come to the arena.
Yeah,
it's kind of fun. I do enjoy that. Bo. I'm going to say this about Bo Jackson, though. I love Bo. He was the outfielder for the Royals. He's amazing. I've got a lot of childhood memories tied to Bo. But when I think of Bo Jackson, though, I don't think of like he's outsmarting people. I just think of Bo physically beating.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. I guess it's just to have, guys can, everybody likes seeing Bo Jackson in the building. So I guess that's probably Carol's just trying to make a happy environment there in Vegas.
I wish I would have grabbed the clip. Louis was trying to track it down. He didn't get. He did just get himself a Bo Jackson throwback jersey, though. That's a nice jersey you got. I did see that. But we're trying to track down this video I saw online. I couldn't find it. Anyway, the gist of it was some old lineman from the Raiders was on a podcast, and they had the video clip and everything. And he goes, listen, we're in a team meeting one time, and, we're going over how we're going to run this play against this week's, it's kind of one of those pitch out to Bo to the right. We're going to get a guy pulling out there, lead him. We'll get some blockers out there, try to get him the edge. And right in the middle of us breaking down the film, Bo's in the back of the room. You hear Bo go, hey, Bo don't want no blocking. Bo says no blocking on this play. Just get out of my way. Y'all are in my way. He said, pitch me the ball that way. Everybody go that way. I'm going the other way. I want nobody in front of me. And they're all like, what the hell? And the guy goes, sure enough, coach goes, fine. We're going to pitch it this way. Bo, just reverse field, go the other way. We'll just run it like that. They put the clip on. They pitch the ball. Bo takes one step to the right. Everybody goes right. He reverses field, goes to the left, and it's just him and a bunch of Bengals, I think, or something. He runs two dudes the fuck over, gets the edge, heads to the end zone, scores, pulls away from everybody. It's hilarious, man.
Yeah. The guy was amazing. It's weird, Bo only played like 4 seasons with the Raiders.
Yeah.
Only 4, and I don't think he ever played more than like 10 games.
No, I think 9. I think he always played 8 or 9 games because he only played 16 at the time.
Right.
I think he only played 8 or 9, and he would always be like around 800 or 900 yards. That dude would have crushed the rushing record. He would have rushed for 2,000 multiple times, and that's not fantasy nostalgia old head talk. I mean,
awesome.
The numbers are there. Half a season, he'd run for 900 every year.
He destroyed Bosworth's career.
Oh,
right. But Boz was a great NFL villain, and then Bo ran over him on Monday Night Football
right at the goal line.
In the Kingdom. Yeah, it was fucking amazing.
It was like that. Like, you remember the old football movie, The Program?
Yeah.
Whoever wrote that is an absolute recreation of that moment when Latimer gets ran over the end zone, decides he needs steroids, he loses his confidence. I'm like, that scene to The Program is exactly like what the Ali Chuck, whatever his name, fight is to Rocky. Like, you're just recreating something you already saw.
Yeah, for sure. Give me a baby blue Royals 16 Bo Jackson jersey. So
got one, buddy. Got one. I love it. And I got me a Raiders black, just like Louis. Okay, this next one is one of my favorite ones. Now, this is something I've been saying for the longest damn time. I don't know why more major league hitters don't do this, because pitchers just get away with throwing at these guys. And it's always been your only your only response you can have is to rush the mound, charge the mound, and run out there and maybe get in a bear hug fight because you really can't do shit about it. And these pitchers just get away with the fact that they're hurling a 95-mile-an-hour ball at your head, and then they can always go, oh, whoops, just got away from me. I didn't mean it. Yeah. This is one of my favorite. Like, this is what I want to see more of.
Hitting in the first inning, Chuck Carey on the mound for the Yankees. The first pitch almost gets Griffey in the face. This is the next pitch. Bat flies out to center field. So actually, 2 accidents equal a lot of milling around on the outfield, on the infield grass.
He lost his mind. But I'm like, I've been saying for years, man. I was like, I'd helicopter that bat right at him and go, oh man, my bad too. Whoops.
Sorry, it slipped. Man, 2 things about that video. One is Griffey was amazing. Now we're just talking about great outfielders from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, man.
But my main thing I took away from that was like, look at that pitcher. Like, look how old he looks.
Yeah.
Like, that guy looks like he's like in his late 50s.
Yep.
Throwing the ball. He's probably like 35, but he looks old.
It's like the exact like Black Mirror kind of alternate world thing as the pitchers now. They look like they're babies and they're 24 years old and their arms are burned out. They don't look like they're even old enough to drink and their arms are burned out and they're on 2 Tommy Johns. And back in the day, these guys like Nolan Ryan and whoever this dude was on the mound, they're like 35 and they look like they're 60, but they're still blowing 90 and throwing 150 pitches a game.
All right, like between innings, they're just crushing a couple butts. You know, they're just smoking a couple, good heaters down, and going back out there.
Man, it would be hilarious to me to put together a little sports sketch and have like one of these old time pitchers and the young kids in there going, "Hey man, how did you keep your arm alive for so long?" Hey buddy, a couple of beers in between innings, and you don't feel that elbow.
It's good. It's good to go. A couple of shot of tequila and Marlboro Red, and I'm off.
Yeah. He's like, "Fuck you, Joe Boo." Gets himself a shot. But hey, helicopter the bat right at these assholes. All right, we got one more for the Piston fans on the heels of the Tayshaun bit last week, which was hilarious. We loved it. It was hilarious. But hey, on this day 40 years ago, we selected Joey Defense Joe Dumars with the 18th overall pick in the 1985 NBA draft. Of course, Joe D goes on to win multiple titles, 3 in a row. I don't care what you say. Nobody fouled Kareem. I'll die on that hill. In the greatest era of basketball, he's guarding Jordan, the greatest player ever. This guy, coming out of where he came out of playing college basketball, I mean, listen, what a story, man. What a story.
Yeah, you know, it was probably that draft pick is probably what wins Detroit those championships. Not that they weren't.
Sure.
I mean, Isaiah was awesome. Like Beer, you have all the Salad, whatever. Rodman.
Oh, yeah.
They've done a great job of picking, but that was a nice pick for sure.
Oh man, that was absolutely the greatest backcourt. And if I'm not mistaken, they're the only backcourt to win back-to-back finals MVPs and back-to-back championships.
Really?
Won one, Joe D won the next. Yeah. I think they're the only backcourt to ever do that.
It's got to be true, especially nowadays with like, you know, if your team goes back-to-back, normally the star is going to win the MVP.
Yep. Yeah.
You know.
So, hey, Joe D, my man, love you. It was so fun watching them guys play, man. All right, that's quick hits for this week, guys, because we're going to move into our new favorite segment. Andy, I got to tell you, the fans love this thing, man. I'm getting messages all the time. They absolutely love No Way.
Okay.
No Way is caught on like wildfire. We're going to jump into some No Ways, and we're going to stay right along the path of Detroit City drafts.
No way. There's no way. No way.
Now I'm decked out in my Red Wings gear for just this very reason. Now, in the 1989 NHL draft, what if I told you the Red Wings took a guy named Mike Sillinger, they took a guy named Bob Bonner, and they took a guy named Dallas Drake. Probably remember Dallas Drake more than the other two. Mm-hmm. Those 3 guys played more than 400 games in the NHL. Very good draft picks. I mean, those are good. That's a good draft pick. It's not a miss. Those guys hung around a long time, played a lot of hockey, a lot of third liners, but a lot of hockey. Okay, what if I told you in the very same draft, the Red Wings got Vladimir Konstantinov, which before the accident was one of the greatest defensemen ever, lace him up, and also picked these 2 gentlemen. Nick Lidstrom and Sergei Fedorov. I mean, listen, I got to tell you, is there a better draft in the history of sports? Is there a better draft class for a professional franchise than that?
Well, you don't get, you know, you'd have to look in football, right? Because you get multiple picks, you know, like that, you know, I have no idea off the top of my head in football, right? You need, because it's not the NBA.
Yeah, but like that's like 3 Hall of Famers in one draft.
Right. You know what I would think about, like, you know, I think about those Seahawks defense or the Ravens defense when they get, you know, sometimes you get like 2 or 3.
Maybe.
But that it so rarely happens. And when you nail it like that, I mean, that's how the Wings were dominant.
Oh, man, dominant. What I mean, I challenge anybody. I challenge you guys. Throw some draft classes you think were better than this in any sport, and I'll probably tell you.
No way. There's no way. No way.
All right. Now this next one. what would you say was probably the greatest Game 7 moment in all of sports? A Game 7 closing moment. I would guess you'd probably say Kawhi in that Raptor shot over the Sixers, right? Was that Game 7?
Yeah, I mean, that's up there. I would probably lean a little more to that LeBron block against the Warriors, the 73-win Warriors.
Okay.
In that Game 7 in Golden State. That's probably where I would go. That's my first instinct.
Okay, probably one of those two play, but basketball just pops to mind immediately because it's always going to be like a buzzer beater or some kind of play at the buzzer, right? And I'm going to tell you.
No way. There's no way. No way.
I'm wearing my captain jersey for old Stevie Y because this is hands down the most exciting, the greatest Game 7 ender of all time. Red Wings and the Wayne Gretzky St. Louis Blues, Game 7, overtime. Watch Yzerman bring the puck up.
Overtime. Gretzky had it, lost it. Yzerman picks it up. Yzerman moving. Blue line chance. Steve Yzerman! Detroit wins!
I mean, you see that angle from behind the goalie? And like, if you just look at that angle one more time, I'm going to play it again because just look at that angle when they show the goalie one more time. I want everybody to specifically look at Steve Yzerman as he goes for this shot. He doesn't just fire wildly. Like, he dekes this defenseman like he's going to the right, gets the guy to move just a bit and comes just inside of him a hair. And watch his eyes. He's looking right at that corner, lines up, gets the angle, and rips that slapper right over his shoulder. Like, this is crazy. Watch it one more time.
Overtime. Gretzky had it, lost it. Yzerman picks it up. Yzerman moving. Blue line chance. Steve Yzerman! Detroit wins!
He's going for that. That ain't no wild shot. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was a rocket, man. You know, that I generally, I'm sure you're going to agree with this, so I'm not too worried about it, which is like the NHL playoffs are just generally better than the NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
And it's not really even that close. But I will say this year is maybe the first year in a while where I thought the NBA playoffs hung in there. Maybe even a little better than the NHL playoffs. You know, I think both finals were awesome this year for the most part. It got probably the same thing's going to happen in the NBA that's happening in the NHL. It's going to get a little out of hand here at the end. But
Halliburton being hurt, yeah.
But I just thought, you know, the NHL is like such a coin flip sport. When it gets to the playoffs, it's great.
Yeah. And I'm going to drop a little nugget here that we're going to circle back on and knock it off. But I do think that this has maybe been a little bit of an eye opener for the NBA, that the ratings are up and more people are interested right now. And I don't think it's just because it's two new teams and new blood. I think it's because the way the playoffs specifically this year have been officiated in opposed to years past. They always let it be a little more physical in the playoffs. This year, they've let it be a lot more physical in the playoffs and defense. And you're not getting outside of like Jalen Brunson and SGA here and there getting a lot of foul draws. You're not getting a lot of the bailout calls. The flopping is not, they're not going for it. They're making the guys play and earn it. And I think more fans are gravitating to it like, oh, I'm watching some basketball.
Yeah, I agree. It's been I like it a little more physical than like the textiles and everything. But I do, my only problem with it is like, I do think the refs, sometimes they just lose control for like minutes on end, like 3 or 4 minutes where like dudes are getting mugged. Yeah. And then they don't call a foul. And then my least favorite is then they call a ticky-tack foul, like after 3 minutes of mugging.
Yeah.
You know, they just lose a little bit of control. Then like somebody like slaps the ball down. They're like, hit him on the arm. You're like,
yeah. And it'll always be like in the last, right. It'll always be like in the last few seconds of the shot clock, or like as the game dwindles down, then they start getting ticky-tacky. And it's like, listen, I'm going to say this. You're 100% right about that. And I'm going to throw this suggestion out to everybody. Let's just give these officials a minute now that they've had the clearing to let it go a little bit, and see if they can maybe get a handle on it the way referees used to back in the day. Like, here's the line. We're going to allow this. We're not going to allow that. And early in the game, they establish that, get control of the game, and then they call it that way the rest of the way.
Well, that is the thing. Whatever, you know, that's the one thing Oklahoma City has gotten away with in a way, and not really gotten away with it. They're good at it. Is they get up on the defenders, they hand check. They're in their business. You know, pretty quickly. And if the refs aren't calling it, it's going to be a long day for whoever Oklahoma City is playing because they're defensively incredible.
Yeah.
So it's like, so that's why my only thing is like, we can have it both ways. We can, as long as we want to keep it at that, that rate, that's great. It's just when they start kind of like getting out of it, it's like, well, now come on, guys. We're, we just watched the guy pull out a gun and rob another player. Right. And now you're on the other end being like, he touched his leg. He's like,
yeah. I was lucky enough to play for the great Michigan High School Hall of Fame coach, John Fembert in high school. And he used to drop gems on officials that would just have me die. And if they had some videotapes of him talking to officials on the sideline, you'd die. And my favorite one, he used to always say to the officials somewhere in the first quarter when they'd blow something real bad, he'd call them over to talk to him. And he was always like, he was never a screamer or a yeller. He'd always just be real he'd call them over and he'd be like, hey, listen, man, I'm just going to tell you this. Okay. You can be good or you can be shitty. I don't care which one you are. Just be consistent.
Right.
And I would die laughing like he just nailed him.
Right. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Let me know how I need to coach the game. If you're going to suck, just suck. And if you're going to be good, be good. Don't be all over the place.
No, don't be good half the time and bad half the time. I need to know, because then I know the rules of this game, right? Yeah. This game, you're going to get fouled hard. This game, you're going to foul out because we're going to call everything.
Yeah. I mean, just let's get a little consistency and let's leave it a little physical. It's been fun. All right, let's jump on this one. Now, not to pile on Angel Reese, guys. I'm not one of these guys that's going to pile on Angel Reese. She's made her bed. And she's not been a good enough heel to, thrive to get to the top. She hasn't been a good enough heel to get over her. It looks like her run is done. But this is crazy, but true. Angel Reese in 36 career games has 229 missed layups. Shaq had 229 missed free throws in the 1999 regular season.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty bad.
She's throwing it up there. I mean, like she just head down and then chucks it.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
I went and saw her play a couple weeks ago. I think I said this a couple weeks ago. But like I saw her like a month ago. And like, I mean, her team is bad. I will say that.
Sure.
So she's all they got. But, she thinks that she's all they got. And so she is just like, throwing shit everywhere.
Yeah. You ever see that movie? God, man, it's got Jennifer Aniston is in it with Ben Stiller.
Mm-hmm. Long Came Polly? Is it Long Came Polly?
Long Came Polly. Yeah. She absolutely reminds me of Philip Seymour Hoffman in that basketball scene. Exactly. Rainmaker, making it rain, just chucking it up and nowhere near hitting it ever.
No way. There's no way. No way.
All right, small diversion from sports right here. I want to get your opinion on how crazy the food thing has gotten in America. We're just mashing all the flavors together. We're putting things together that don't belong together. And normally I'm in for something crazy. Like I'll tell you this right now. My son and I, when we were visiting some colleges, we went to this crazy bar that had this glazed donut, double cheeseburger, bacon. Like it was a big glazed donut was the bun. A sweet ass glazed donut, and it was like a double cheeseburger with bacon and everything on it. And it was like, I don't know about that. We tried it. Okay, it was fun. It was good.
Yeah.
This one's a little too far for me. I was at Jim and Nick's famous barbecue joint the other day, and this is their new dessert for the month. Looks delicious at first here, the All-American shortcake. Now read that. Featuring our cheese biscuits as the shortcake, fresh strawberries, blueberries, and whipped cream. Now, hold on. You sold me that this was some kind of like fruit angel food cake. You're putting cheese biscuits in there with strawberries and blueberries and whipped cream?
My first question is, do they make good cheese biscuits?
The cheese biscuits are really good. They're these little things that bring to the table, and they're good.
Okay.
But it's a cheese biscuit with
no way. There's no way. No way.
No thanks on that.
All right.
I don't think so. Would you?
I think I would try it. I would try it once.
Listen, I'll try anything twice. That's my rule. And my wife knows that. Like my rule with anything is I'll try it twice because your first time could have been a bad experience. I'll try anything twice, but I bet you that ain't good.
Yeah.
I bet you that ain't good. All right. I got a question for you on this next one, Andy. How many kids do you think die every year in youth baseball?
I did not expect that to be the question. Die in youth baseball? I mean, I hope the answer is 0, but I guess you're telling me it's more than 0. So I'm guessing can we average? I'm going to stay low, 3 a year.
I wanted to say 0 as well. And for the sake of not wanting to cry myself to sleep, I didn't look up the answer. But after seeing this video here, I guarantee there's some. Watch this. This kid, look, watch him steal home. He's going to steal home. Oh my God. Oh my God, man. Watch this thing. He's right over him, hits the ball too, full swing, metal bat. I mean, oh my God, he could have killed that kid.
Yeah, I mean, one, at least he's wearing a helmet. Two, this is on the coaches. Yeah. We got to get our signs right in some way.
Oh, well, that kid probably was going on his own from home. But the thing here too is like, this is not like some T-ball or 9 or 10-year-old game. These kids are probably like 11, 12 years old over here. That kid's swinging that bat. Yeah. And you're still at home.
Right. And though, kids are, one, they're not the smartest people in the world, but two, that plane. But two, that plane?
No,
but
don't.
Two, they're very elastic, as you know. They're very elastic. So I'm thinking that kid gets hit the bat, he probably stands up and pumps his fist that he got home.
I mean, like his face is right facing it. He's not even smart enough to like slide and put your face in the dirt and just get your feet across the plate. Like he's looking for the pop-up ESPN moment. Like, let's look at it in slow-mo.
Yeah.
Here we go. He's taking off for the plate. Yeah. He sees, look his head, look at it. He sees the pitch and watch this. What's he trying to like touch the plate and get out of the way so the kid can hit the ball? Like, what are you doing?
Or he's like a home base genius. Right. He knows how to steal. He's like, he ducked it perfectly. Like,
yeah, well, he almost got himself dusted, man. So I'm going to say, I believe that the number for deaths in youth baseball after watching this moronicness, I'm going to say probably 5.
No way. There's no way. No way.
Ridiculous, man. You kids, man, don't do that dumb shit for Christ's sake. All right. Hey, that's going to take us into our final segment of the day, which is going to bring me to my point for the weekend, guys. It's going to be some good weather. There's going to be at least one more. Well, there's a game tonight. There's going to be a little NBA championship action tonight. You're going to see if this thing's going to go 7. I don't think it will. You don't think it will. But hey, while you're enjoying that stuff this weekend, guys, get yourself one of the most delicious beers on the planet. The official beer choice of DWMOD podcast. That's Old English 800. Get a splash of orange juice and get you a brass monkey.
Brass monkey, that monkey, brass monkey, chunky.
If you guys think this is a bit and we're just joking every week, we're not. Like, we're not. Get some orange juice and Old English and get at it, man. Get yourself a brass monkey this weekend. It's the official beer choice of the DWMOD podcast. Go ahead and get some. Now let's jump into my favorite Jamie Moyer inspired segment. Knock it off.
All right, everyone. Time to do me a favor and knock it off.
Okay, I would like the Boston Red Sox to quit trying to imitate the team right up the road, the New England Patriots. I would like them to understand that football and baseball are very, very different. So when the Patriots are building a dynasty on getting rid of players when they're just about turning downhill, they'll get rid of them for a bunch of good assets and picks, and they'll dump a guy. Understand that baseball's not like that. The Red Sox, they just traded away Rafael Devers.
Yeah.
Now they did the same thing with Mookie Betts, and both of these guys homegrown. Devers has been with the Red Sox since he was 16 years old. He was signed by them. Listen, man, he is now. Devers arrives in San Francisco. They trade him to the Giants. This guy's at the peak of his game. He's their best hitter. And the whole thing revolves around them trying to paint him as being some kind of diva in the press. You've seen the stories, Andy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and we demonize him in sports media. They demonize him because that gets more clicks. But here's the reality of the situation. And I'm sure you follow this, but for some listeners that don't, here's the reality of the situation. Devers is your guy. You locked him up long-term. He's your best hitter. He's homegrown. You had him since he's 16. He plays third base. Greatest third baseman defensively in the league? No, but more than good enough at the plate for you to live with it. And they go out and get Bregman in the offseason, which normally would be fine. But they don't go to Devers and say, hey, we'd like to move you to first base so you can last longer like they do with guys like Harper and stuff, right? They don't say anything to him about DH, and they don't even tell him they're bringing in Bregman. He finds out the hard way. And he's like, hey, what the fuck, man? You brought in somebody at my position?
Right.
So he tells him, I'm not going to play first base. So he winds up just DH, and they paint him as being a diva, yada, yada, yada. And they move him and they trade him. And you see in the news, as soon as he gets to San Francisco, he's like, I'll play wherever you want me to play. Just be upfront with me. Who's the asshole here? The Red Sox or Devers?
Well, I feel like I feel like they got a lot for this trade. You know, like I think
they did.
I think it seems like this. I kind of like this trade for the Red Sox more than like I'm like the Mookie trade to me is the worst one. Like Mookie was like 23. Everybody's like, this guy's awesome.
Yeah.
And then they just shipped him to the Dodgers for I'm not even sure why.
They had some goofball analytics that because of his frame and the way he played that this wouldn't last. And some nerd sat down with a math equation and the other idiots listened to him because that's sports now.
Yeah, that was a bad one. This one, I'm like, I'm okay with it. Like they shipped him. They got like a couple great pitching prospects. You know,
number one draft pick
all the way to the NL West. I'm like, what a win for them. You know,
win for the Giants too, though. Like they're hot in it right now. They are hot in it.
What are they doing with Devers in like 5 years when he's hitting 260 and he's like it's like Soto? They'd be like, in a way. So I'm okay with it. I think overall.
Yeah. I will not argue with you about the trade. It wound up being a good trade. I guess my point is a little more like, who's the real asshole here? Like they painted out to be Devers, and I'm like, nah, Boston really kind of in the wrong on this. But I will say this. This to me says that the San Francisco Giants really, 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 based on what you just said, really think that they've got a window this year and next to win the World Series.
Yeah, for a few years, maybe. Yeah. The one thing that bothers me about it is like I hate when these like kind of I call them big market teams. And we all do, but like
sure,
the Red Sox are a big market team. When they like start nickel and diming, I'm like, no, you guys can't. You can't, especially in baseball. Like you're not the Royals, you're not the fucking Tigers. Like Tigers really don't. I mean, they nickel and dime. The Royals nickel and dime. The Marlins, we can like this. I'm like, you have the money. Let's go.
You've got the money. Listen, New York Yankees, New York Mets. Boston Red Sox, LA Dodgers,
right?
Philadelphia Phillies. You have the money. Spend the money.
Yeah, why not?
You're allowed to. There's no cap.
Right. Go crazy.
Luxury tax, but no cap. You know what I mean? It's like, well, you understand what I'm saying. I don't know. Ridiculous to me, though.
All right, everyone. Time to do me a favor and knock it off.
This one will be short and to the point. Take a look at this here, Andy. What Stephen A needs to see from Cooper Flagg to live up to the hype.
Sure.
Okay. And I'm not going to even bother with the video because listen, what Stephen A needs to see from Cooper Flagg so that he can prove to Stephen A that he is what they think he's going to be. I'm sure Cooper Flagg, the pride of Maine, is up late at night thinking about this, huh?
Yeah. Well, so he reclassified. He was supposed to be a senior in high school this year. Instead, he went to college and was the player of the year.
Yeah.
I feel like he's okay. Cooper's he's going to be the number one pick of the draft.
Stephen A has become a caricature that I find hilarious. I don't hate on him. I find it hilarious how self-important he thinks he is. Right. Just the way that he structures these statements now. Not like, hey, a lot of hype around Cooper Flagg. Like if we were discussing Cooper Flagg and we might be like, well, hey, this is going to be this and this when he gets to the NBA. He's going to have to compete with this type of thing. He's going to need to work on this, maybe get his mid-range going a little better. But, things you might talk about, he may need to, problems he may run into. That cracks me up the way Stephen A structures it. Listen, it all stops and ends with me.
Right,
okay. Right. Here's what I need to see from my man Cooper. If he don't do this, and I'm going to tell you something. What he needs to show me, Stephen A. Nobody needs to show you shit.
No,
you know what I mean.
He's not like Stephen thinks of himself like he's the final boss of NBA journalists. Yeah. You're like, you're not.
Yeah. Because if he comes in the first 5 games and he don't do what I want him, and he don't see because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to come on this show and I'm going to tell him no. And I'll bury him. And I'm like, okay, you'll bury him. Whatever, Stephen.
All right, everyone. Time to do me a favor and knock it off.
So self-important. Okay, let's talk about one of the things we hit up top to get us out of knock it off here. We'll end on this one for knock it off. Why does not only the players, but the front offices, the league, the WNBA from top to bottom, why do they want to eat the golden goose? Why do they want to cook Caitlin Clark and devour and eat her. I don't understand it.
Well, I guess I would say on the athlete side, like I'm sure some of it is competitiveness, but the one thing, I think it was Colin Cowherd said this recently, which I thought was a very good point, which was he basically said, Caitlin Clark's like the sun, when the sun is playing, like when she's playing, the sun's out, everyone goes to the beach. And when she's not playing and she's hurt, it's cloudy out. Nobody goes to the beach.
Yeah.
So you have to like, I don't mind the competitiveness. It's fun. The WNBA, I think I've mentioned this, like my wife and I and my daughter, we have season tickets to Sparks games. Those Caitlin Clark games are more fun than when she's not there, for sure.
Listen, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
The league is still losing money like a bad hemorrhage, but they doubled their income when she came in, almost tripled it now. She was out for like a 5-game stretch recently with an injury. Attendance and ratings plummeted down to almost damn near nothing, what they used to be. She is the golden goose for the league. And I understand the competitiveness, but there are other leagues that have competitiveness. Like the NBA's, like these guys aren't competitive. Like they're competitive and they're trying to get after Steph Curry. But the league is like, you're not just going to walk around acting like, 1980s NBA Charles Oakley on Steph Curry. He's a big star for us. He generates a lot of money. You want to play good defense, play good defense. You're not going to take shots and hammering and shoving and punching and pushing. You're not doing that shit.
Right. Well, I think that part of it, I think what finally happened was what we like. It hasn't happened in the NBA because if somebody did that to Curry, for example, Draymond's going to get in there, right? And Draymond is going to take the brunt of it. Even if you watch the Pacers in the NBA Finals, if you watch Halliburton, right, at the end of the game, his interview, there's still one guy on the bench waiting for Halliburton. His name's James Johnson. And James Johnson waits for Halliburton like a bodyguard. He waits. And the game's over, and I gets a little bit of a bit, but James Johnson physically, not basketball wise, physically, he's like a complete badass, right? So he waits. All these NBA teams, like the fights happen. There's going to be a guy who, like the Pistons, are a great example. We've talked about this.
Sure,
you get fucking Holland and Beef Stew, you a little fired up. They're trying to fight everyone.
Right.
The Fever have gone too long without having anyone stand up for Caitlin in a way. And
no doubt.
It took one of my own. It took a University of Missouri born graduated from the University of Missouri, Sophie Cunningham.
Yeah.
Like, hey, listen, we don't stand for fuckery in Missouri.
Yeah.
And she got in there. So that, like her jersey, did you see this? Like her jersey sold out at Fanatics.
Didn't see that, but good for her. Good for her.
Well,
and if you don't know what we're talking about,
to step up,
right? Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that point. I don't disagree with that point at all. They do need that, but there is something to be said for the fact that whether Draymond stepped up to protect Curry or whatever after the fact, the league would come down and be like, "Hey, idiot that did this, you're suspended for 5 games. You're getting a hefty fucking fine." Like they would lay down the law that don't do this shit anymore. You know what I mean? And we'll get to what the punishment for this was, but if you guys don't know what we're talking about, here's the video from the other night.
Lead for the Fever. Midway point, third quarter.
Okay, so a little drama here, a little trying to draw a foul, and then bam!
Lexi Hall now gets in.
You know what I mean? Like this is the kind of stuff that would not be tolerated if this was Steph Curry or the NBA, and this is the kind of shit that they need to stop. Is my point. Now here's going to come. They're going to roll back around here and show it again, Andy. We'll wait for a second. Okay, watch this right here. That's nothing. She's kind of drawing a foul. Okay,
right.
She pushes her. Now here you go, right here. Boom! That girl comes flying up and straight hip checks her. That's no dive,
Right.
Like she's going not this one. Watch, not the first girl in point. That one right there. Bam. That's the kind of shit that nope.
Yeah, I mean that girl probably should be suspended for like 2-3 games.
Yeah, you know what she got?
That's the bad one.
They reviewed the tape on the spot in the game, and they gave a technical foul to Caitlin Clark for pushing the other girl.
Right.
And they downgraded that from a Tech 2 to a Tech 1, a flagrant 2 to a flagrant 1. Then after the media storm, they went back and watched the video, and they said, no, that's a flagrant 2. Like, how's that not a flagrant 2? But furthermore, She did get punished for that girl. $400.
Yeah,
really setting the tone. I mean, now granted, that's probably her whole salary for 5 games.
Right.
But really setting the tone, WNBA. And this is my point, Andy. Like, this is why I'm like, this is kind of top down. This has been going on long enough. It's egregious stuff. It's not physical play. It's egregious after the whistle type shit like this. They're straight bullying her. I don't know why. She doesn't take it. She's tough. She keeps playing hard. She's doing fine. Why are they allowing and why do they want to eat the golden goose?
Yeah, I don't, they need to, well, they can't, I guess what they need to do is like, they need to kind of increase what you're saying, Lopez, increase the fines. Like if you're going to do that to Clark or any player, it doesn't even matter. Like it can't be like $300-$400, which I do get is, it is a lot of money. I'm not saying it's not a lot of money, especially for the salary, but like, let's raise the stakes a little
Make
bit.
it hurt. $5,000. You're making
75. Any player like that, if you're going to take it, it's kind of a cheap shot by her, by the way.
Super cheap shot.
Like if you want to do that, that's going to be like a game. That's going to be 2 games. Like let's just raise it up a little bit.
Yeah, every league protects their stars, and my point here is, the WNBA. Correct me if I'm wrong. They seem to not give a fuck.
They need to step in a little bit. They need to just send a message with somebody. Which is, I will say, I was happy for Cunningham doing that to that other at the end of the game.
Yes.
Not because of like, I mean, and she should also be fined, whatever, missed 2 games.
She was.
Whatever.
She got suspended. She's suspended and fined. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that makes sense to me, but so should the other girl. That's,
yeah.
But I was happy for her doing that because of like, now we have our Oakley to our Jordan here in a way. We have someone who's going to like you can't take a cheap shot at our person without us taking. Yeah. I mean, we just saw it in baseball. We saw in the Griffey clip, right?
Yeah.
You have to have some retaliation. The Fever went on way too long without any retaliation.
Sure. Let me throw a conspiracy theory at you here. Now this is, I'm not saying I believe this, but hey, we've seen crazier shit. The feud between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark that boiled over from college and then came into the WNBA kind of really helped fuel a lot of this. I mean, mainly Caitlin Clark's scoring ability, but that kind of fueled a lot of this. And the fact that Angel Reese has completely fallen off, nobody cares anymore. They just make fun of her for missing shots. She hasn't hung around as the villain, as we already talked about. Her staying power died. There's really not this big thing between the two of them is not a big thing anymore. Are there people in the front office at the WNBA that are going, hey, that was hot press for us when that was going on. This heel faded. Let's let a little bit of this go on with some teams. Let some of these teams do this kind of shit, and we'll see if we can spark another one up between somebody. Like somebody and Caitlin will get another beef going, and then we'll get something going. I mean, is that
maybe? I think the WNBA is, as long as Caitlin's playing, I think there's going to be people are going to attack her in some way. And so I think the WNBA is fine with whoever that is.
Yeah.
Coming to step up. I just think she is what the draw, obviously, right now. She's like Pistol Pete,
Yeah.
The new Pistol Pete of and it's truly she is fun to watch. That's the other thing. She's fun to watch. Like, she's good.
Outside of 1980s NBA, which was allowed by every team, not just the Pistons. It was just part of the game back then. I have not seen a team or sport allowed this kind of like egregious thuggery and just nothing going on.
All right, everyone, time to do me a favor and knock it off.
All right. I was gonna say, can you imagine if Caitlin Clark was on those Pistons teams? They would have decapitated people.
They would have ate her alive. They would have ate her alive.
Anybody hits her, they would have destroyed them.
They would have destroyed her. I mean, it would have been some real trouble. Bill
Lamb. They put her with beef stew in Holland.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Those animals, you just rip teams apart.
Yeah. Go trade for Brianna. Brianna. Yeah. All right, man. Let's quickly jump into some all right bet here. And for Louie, we're going to play the long version. Do it. Yeah, do it, Louie.
Wanna bet?
Cash money.
It's time for another episode of All Right Bet.
Want to bet?
No! God, please, no! No!
Tease it.
Wanna chicken dinner.
I'd buy that for $1.
All right, man. All right. Now, here we go. Let's jump into some All Right Bet. Real quickly, you guys know the deal. Every day on our social media sites, Mikey Wilson, DWMOD. You're getting the big 6 picks. You're getting your 6 Major League Baseball picks. And, Andy, right now on the season, I'm updating you guys every week. Right now on the season, we're sitting 251 and 195. So we're more than 50 games above 500. We're doing fine. We're making money. There's stretches where you're going to lose in baseball. And right now, heading into the All-Star break, guys, every single year is the same thing. Teams are drunk. Bad teams are going to win a lot right now because teams are resting guys. You're gearing up for the All-Star break. It just happens. You're going to have a lot of Rockies wins. It's going to be tough for the next couple of weeks. You just got to weather the storm. And like we said before, just don't lose. Just stay above water and take your wins when you get them. Now, on that note, we are officially done with the Baltimore Orioles on this show. I know beginning of the year, I said take them as a long shot for a World Series run, because the odds were good for some money. No. Get off them. They suck. Last night, the Rays, we had 4 parlays going to cash in last night, and they were up 8-0. They lose the game 12-8. Biggest comeback of the year in Major League Baseball. The Rays come back and score 12 and win the game. Guys, we are off the Orioles, even though they've been a little hot, the lineup lately. Sorry. Lineup is up and down. The pitching's atrocious. Baltimore sucks. We're staying off them. I'm pissed.
Yep.
I'm pissed.
Yeah, you got to, and they're like 11 back. I see in the AL East, and like there's 4 good teams all above 100, all above 500 ahead of them.
Yeah, they're toast.
They're toast.
They're toast, and the pitching's garbage. They'll be sellers. We're done with them. We're off the Baltimore Orioles. You have officially pissed me off. On that note, Andy and I are going to play a quick little game here for some fun, for some betting. We're going to try and throw a dart at some NFL MVPs for next year. We're going to get in on some early money here. Now, here's the rules for what we're about to do on this one. Here are the favorites. Okay, Lamar Jackson plus 550, Josh Allen, Burrows, Mahomes, Josh Daniels. These guys are all 5 or 6 to 1. We are going to play a game where we got to take a guy that is outside that 10 to 1 range. Okay, which everybody else who's outside 10 to 1 is actually 20 to 1. It goes from Daniels at plus 850 to 2,000. Yeah. So here's the rest of the list here for the long shots. Jalen Hurts, Herbert, Stroud, Purdy, Caleb Williams. Take your pick. Throw a dart on that thing. Andy, who do you like at plus 20 to 1 odds right now as a long shot for the NFL MVP?
I want to give you a couple. I have a couple guys. I'll give you one first, and you can go one. One of my first ones off the bat is I'll take Brock Purdy at plus 3,000.
Okay, really? Get into that.
I'll take Purdy, one, because the 49ers have a 4th place schedule, right? So also their over under for wins is like 9.5, right? If they get over that and win the division, this is where we get in the MVP conversation. It won't be McCaffrey. McCaffrey had his chance 2 years ago when he had an awesome season. They still didn't give it to him.
No, offensive player. You called it then. Yep.
And that's an offensive player of the year award. Yeah. So he doesn't have Debo. He might not have Ayuk for a little while. It's going to tell me he's going to have Pearsall and Juwan Jennings, what people consider worse wide receivers, right?
Yeah.
Let's say the Niners go 12-5, 11-6, 13-4. Who's going to get all the praise? Brock Purdy. It's going to be Brock Purdy. Even if the defense is awesome, it's going to be Brock Purdy.
I may disagree with you a little bit. Now, I think all the things you're saying could happen, but we know that the media and the powers that be of the NFL, they refuse to give this guy credit for anything. He's Mr. Irrelevant. No matter how well he does, it'll be system guy. I just feel like they'll never give it to that kid.
I would argue the other side too. He got his extension now. He also, they might be interested in giving if they go 13-4, and let's say he puts up some numbers.
Yeah.
And it's him or Lamar or Josh Allen. I love Purdy in that option because they're going to want to give it to the guy who's last pick in the draft. Great story.
And maybe it flips now.
It works really hard. So that is one guy I definitely would have my eye on is Purdy.
Okay.
Especially if you like the Niners to win that division, then for sure. I would probably do that over maybe even betting the Niners to win that division.
Okay. All right,
guys.
All right. I'll tell you, I'll give you mine right now. I'm going to take a long shot on Matt Stafford in LA.
I like Stafford
plus 3,300, right?
I like that one.
He adds Devontae Adams with Puka. We saw what the Rams could do last year. I mean, they were literally one catch away from beating Philadelphia and knocking them out of the playoffs, who wound up being the Super Bowl champs. And and then again too, like you said, the NFL likes a good story. They like, and here's a guy that's a first ballot Hall of Famer, hands down, going to be at the top of all the passing numbers, top 5 probably by the time he's done playing in all of them. Give this guy an MVP, they probably love it.
Yeah, if I was getting on the Purdy argument side of it, let's say they finish with the same record, right? Yeah. Stafford has 2 wide receivers that people know.
Sure.
And those are named wide receivers and a very good running back.
Yeah.
Aaron Williams. Now, so does Purdy, as a good running back. But he also, his wide receivers, people, they're awesome wide receivers, but people are already considering they're not household names. Everybody's like, well, Stafford should. He's got Adams, he's got Puka.
Sure.
This is where I keep. That's why I think Purdy's odds are lower, personally.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But I'm with you. Stafford's another guy on my list for sure.
All right. You got it. You got one more you want to give us or no?
I'll give you 2 more.
Okay.
I think 2 more I like. I'm going to throw one is now this one, I can argue both sides of it, but one is Dak.
Yeah. Yeah.
One is Dak. With that. Now, Dak had a good season 2 years ago, got second. Mm-hmm. Kind of tells me that was probably his MVP chance.
Yeah.
Personally. Yeah. And that's kind of how I feel about Stafford. Stafford's had his chance. I don't think they're going to give it to Stafford. I don't think they'll give it to Dak. But hear me out. Let's say the Cowboys win that division. The NFC, weaker than the AFC. Let's say the Cowboys somehow go, who has a very hard schedule, 13-4, 14-3.
Yeah.
12-5.
Yeah, storming back from a bad season. Yeah.
Yeah. And let's say they win the NFC East over the Eagles. No back-to-back repeat winners. They beat the Commanders. We don't think the Giants are going to win. By the way, I love the Cowboys to win that division. Just love it. Let's say all that happens. Dak is going to be in the conversation.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think he kind of gets a bad rap. I think he's a very good quarterback. I don't think he's, top 5, but I think he's like, when they talk about replacing him and shit, I'm like, that guy, there are a million other teams in the league love to have that guy. I think he's a good quarterback.
Yeah. Hey, do you have another one? You want me to give you one more?
I mean, I'm just going to roll with Jared Goff. I mean, they got Caleb Williams ahead Jared Goff. Now, if Jared Goff comes out this year without Ben as the offensive coordinator, play caller, and comes out and has a great year, puts up big numbers, the Lions make another run, it's going to be very hard for them to deny him again this year. Running the most powerful offense in the NFL, maybe, you know what I mean? It's going to be hard for them for 3 years in a row to go. Like last year, I thought was a bit of nonsense when they were just like, well, it's the offensive coordinator. Shut the fuck up. All he can do is call the play. You know what I mean? I'll go with Goff. I'll go hometown.
I like Goff. That the only issue I think I have with Goff is that we all know the offense is good, and we all know Goff is pretty important. Yeah. So it's not. Sometimes I think in these bets, the surprise element is helpful.
It is
in these MVP bets.
It is.
So I'm going to give you one. This is one of my longer shots, but it's Trevor Lawrence at plus 4,500.
Okay.
Now, let me make the case for Trevor here real quick.
Yeah.
One is we all think he's toast. We all think he is toast. He hasn't played a lot. He hasn't been good. Brings in a new coach. That Liam Cohen guy comes from Tampa. He was the offensive coordinator last year with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Do you remember what Tampa did on offense last year?
Yeah.
They were really, really good. Right? He is in a division that has CJ Stroud, could have a shoulder problem. Who knows? I don't know if CJ's healthy. Yeah. He's in a division that has Cam Ward. By the way, I like the Titans to win that division. A part of me wanted to take Cam Ward to be MVP, but I don't think they'll ever give it to a rookie.
No.
And the other one is Daniel Jones. Here's an opportunity for Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars to win 10, 11, 9, 10, 11, 12 games. Win the division. Trevor's the star.
To do what they should have been doing.
Puts up monster numbers. He has Etienne. He has Brian Thomas Jr. He's got Travis Hunter. He's got weapons, right? And he's bringing in a coach who we just saw, very much like Ben Johnson going to Chicago, is Liam Cohen is going from Tampa, who had awesome weapons, to Jacksonville. At plus 4,500, 45-1, it's worth your time.
Yeah. That's not. I mean, for $5, throw it on there, dude. Throw it on there. I'm just going to give you 2 that I'm going to tell you right now to avoid that are at the higher end of this list, and don't even buy into it and waste your money. Hurts and Herbert, they are not going to win MVP, guys. Those teams are going to run the football. You are not going to win the MVP, no matter how good your offense is, no matter how many big moments you have at the end of a game. You're not going to win the MVP when you're handing the ball off that much. You're just not.
Right.
You're just not. It's just not going to happen.
You're not. If you really wanted to get crazy, I might also throw $5 on Penix Jr.
I love that. I love that. I do love that because he's way down the list.
Right. I'd also consider JJ McCarthy. Just throwing it out there.
Well, I don't think they'll give it to a rookie, but yeah.
Well, but he technically is a rookie, but he's technically not. Right.
Yeah, right.
So but the problem is the same problem I think Goff's going to have is those teams were both awesome last year.
Yeah.
People are not going to be like, well, we just saw Darnold do what JJ is doing. So that would be what I would fight against it.
Fair enough.
So Penix, Lawrence,
maybe JJ. Yeah.
Maybe JJ. JJ is like 100-1. So
yeah.
So doubtful.
Quick question for you here. Maybe you don't know. I don't know, and I've never been able to find an answer. Why does the NFL not like every other sport with what they consider a rookie? Like, shouldn't it have to do with if you play or not?
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
Shouldn't there be like some kind of rule, like if you didn't get in at least 4 games, it's not your rookie year? You know what I mean? Like baseball, like you have to play so much for it to consider to be. I don't know. I mean, JJ didn't play 1 snap, but he's not a rookie anymore. I'm like, I don't know. It seems silly to me.
My longest of long shots is Lawrence.
Okay.
Everybody just take a shot. Let's say things. Look, you're going to know about 8 games in.
Sure. Now's the time to jump on it. I mean, who cares? $5, man.
Imagine they're 6-2. There's going to be talk, and that odds are going to go from 45 to like 11.
Yeah.
And then as what we can talk about in later episodes, then the hedge can start. Then you could start betting others to win the MVP, right? You can take maybe Josh Allen moves up to 9-1. Maybe Josh Allen moves to 11-1. You can take Josh Allen. You can take maybe Hurts goes down lower or higher. You can take a Hurts. There's options is my only point.
Sure. Yeah, a lot of them. All right, let's get out on this note. Baseball-wise, I'm going to throw you guys. Here's the list of World Series favorites coming up on the All-Star break here. I'm going to give you a couple of long shots to put a few dollars on here. That they're like with $5 to win you 100. Why not put it down right now, right? Okay, here's the list. You can freeze that, pause it if you want to look at that, but I've got it in front of me right here. So look, we're not getting on Dodgers, Yankees, Mets, Tigers. Yeah, plus 800 for Mets. Yep. Tigers plus 850. Yeah, give me plus 850 right now. But here's some better ones. Phillies at plus 1200. I'm putting money on that. That team's stacked lineup, good pitching, especially when you dumb it down to like 3 starters in a playoff series. I like the Phillies. The Cubs are at plus 1300. One of the best scoring teams in baseball. I'll take that long shot. For sure. I'm not jumping on the Astros. No thanks at plus 1600. Here's one I really like based on what we talked about earlier. They just acquired Devers. They're quietly one of the best teams in baseball right now. Their pitching is really good up front. The bullpen holds up. Lineup is scoring runs. San Francisco Giants are plus 2,200 right now, guys.
Yeah, on FanDuel, they're 3,100, by the way.
Put $5 on the Giants right now. And that's a team that, if they get into the playoffs, has pedigree. They're not going to be like a shock to be there and eyes wide open. Like, this is a team where if they get in the playoffs, they will win.
Yeah, I also would throw in the Padres at 3,100.
Just because of that lineup. If their pitching can get it together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we got a couple guys like Dylan Cease is not pitching like Dylan Cease, you know?
Right. If they can win games like 10-9, they're going to be.
Yeah.
They have to get that way.
Like when Nico's on the mound, they got a good shot. And outside that, their starters have not been good, man. King's been good, and he's coming back around. He's coming. If they got King or Pavetta going, I like both of those guys. Dylan Cease was a guy I used to bet on. I stay away from Cease now, man. He gives up a ton of runs.
Yeah.
He just is. But like long shot odds for the World Series right there. Those are teams that I'm taking. Jump on the Giants, put a little bet on them, and jump on the Tigers. The Tigers have shown, and that's not just being a homer. Tigers have shown they're not a flash in the pan. They're winning and winning and winning, and their starting pitching is very good. The bullpen is really, really good. Vest is really, these guys, the Tigers are legit, and it ain't going to get any better than plus 850. Throw $10 on that right now. You know what I mean? You win some money.
Hey, before we go, let me just tell you what I would do tonight. I probably would stay away, but if you put a gun to my head, I would take the over in the game. It's like 222. I would take the over. I just think the Pacers, if they win, they have to push the pace.
Yeah.
And then I would probably, I know me, I would take the money line Pacers and just hope for game 7.
Yeah. Probably. We're gonna stay away from the escalator tonight. I think we're
I want to know they're not gonna tell you what Halliburton's doing until like it's too late in the day.
Yeah, it's gonna be too late in the day. I'll probably just watch that for fun and stay away from it, to tell you the truth, man. But hey, that's our show for this week, guys. We'll be back next week. Hey, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank everybody for coming back. The numbers are growing like crazy every week. We're loving this thing. We're having fun. We appreciate you guys. Tip of the cap to my listener Jeff Pop for throwing me that Red Wing stuff this week. He got at me online and was like, "Hey, man, did you see this thing?" And it was great, man. So we used it for the show. We will do that kind of stuff if you get at us. Thanks again, Jeff. Appreciate that thing. We'll see you next time.
We cutting loose. Touchdown.
Ready? College football is now B1G versus SEC.
Down. Put.
If you ain't listening to All Right Bet with me and Andy St. Clair, you're throwing away money.
Ready?
All Lions fans drinking that Kool-Aid. Super Bowl. Hey, disagree with me or don't. That's how it works.